Are we recording? Yeah, we're recording. We're doing it, girls.
We're on.
Sorry, here we are. Radiance Revolution. We've never been together before.
Yay!
We're together. And together we are talking about being non-judgmental and let's be more compassionate and open, because if we are more open and compassionate, it allows other people to be honest and truthful and stand in their authenticity, doesn't it?
And their power.
Because we were talking, how we got onto this subject, wasn't it? Because we were talking about cosmetic surgery. Because we were talking about me not wearing a bra, and I mentioned that I've got fake boobs. And then, of course, because we're as natural healers and we're trying to do as much natural stuff as possible, then to then go, oh, and by the way, I've got a big lump of silicone in my body. Some people are a bit like, oh, it's not very congruent. But the thing is, I think it's we've called this the Radiant Revolution, haven't we, girls? Because we want everybody to feel freaking radiant. We feel radiant, not all the time. We're working our way to get more radiant, but it's that non-judgmental thing, isn't it? Like, and you know, somebody can judge me for having fake boobs. We can judge each other for having anything, can't we? But it's about being nice and kind and actually allowing people to do what they want to do and supporting them through it.
Because we're all powered. We're all, powered by the energy around us. That's what empowered is. That and it's emotional too, because that is the emotive language that we bring in to create that energy. And when we've got this space where we're all in that love and the peace and the truth, we shouldn't be in that judgy, because we've got justice already. And that's sitting in that truth and sitting in our own power. We're empowering everybody anyway. So that's,
absolutely.
We just need to make it simple. And
it's a vibratory thing as well. So, if you want to raise your vibration, just don't be mean, right? If you want to lift your vibration, that's like a really quick hack. Just don't be mean. Like, just don't be involved in salacious gossip. Don't sit there. If you get enjoyment out of hearing all the gossip in groups and who's doing what to who and, oh my God, tell me, then you are involved in the lowering of your own vibration. And, I'm seeing a lot of hating on women who have had cosmetic surgery. I'm seeing a lot of hating on people who have had Botox and fillers, hating on furries, hating on the Kardashian bud. Fucking let people be what they are. Like, if they want to go out and be a fairy, just let them go out and be a fairy. Maybe don't change all the school toilets to a cat litter, but just let them be what they want to be, and they will find their own way. If somebody feels amazing and they're getting Botox, let them feel amazing, right? Let's just stop judging everyone. And if they want to go the natural route and get this amazing face sculpting and face massage, amazing, fantastic. But let's just all stop thinking that we are superior in what we are doing and that we know what someone has been through. We do not know what someone has been through. Sometimes people have been through abusive relationships, grief. Sometimes they've had a severe accident. So if someone has had breast cancer, are they allowed a breast implant, or should they learn to love themselves as they are? Like, you're dealing with people with multiple different reasons for doing things, and we cannot presume to know what those reasons are. And so the best thing we can do is just support each other with whatever our decisions and learn to love all our differences.
I agree. And because it's not even just about cosmetic surgery. That's how this came up, isn't it? But I totally agree, like, no gossiping. Like, I remember, like, when I was younger and somebody would tell you some gossip and you'd be part of it, because that was a vibe, and it was the vibe when I didn't love myself. So, of course, I wanted to be fueled by something else, and I probably wanted some people to be as unhappy as I was feeling. And so when we're talking about raising our frequency, the more happy you are within yourself, the less you want to judge other people anyway. And you want to allow them to be who they want to be. And like, you know, think about when somebody you love perhaps is diagnosed with a serious illness, and there's so much judgment that comes about. I've watched this happen with people I know, you know, people who've wanted to go the medical road, and then there's some people who might want to go the holistic road, and then their family's like, you've got to go and have surgery, you've got to have chemotherapy. Like, I don't have to do anything. And the most important thing is that you're comfortable with your decisions. But it's about, I'm so sick of people having to feel like they need to hide a part of themselves.
Or justify their actions. Like, why should they justify their actions? And I cannot, you know, I hear people saying all the time, oh, I would never do that.
Yeah.
And I say to them, you don't know what you would do in that situation.
No.
If I get cancer, I can't say I'm going to go the complete natural route.
No.
I might suddenly go, well, you know what? I'm going to just do everything. I'm going to do the natural, and I'm going to do chemo, and I'm going to do this. I don't know what I'm going to do if I'm faced with a life-threatening disease, so I'm certainly not going to presume to tell somebody else what they should be doing when they
that's right.
are faced with something like that.
And I think it's about tuning in. That's awakening your own intrinsic knowledge to be able to take yourself on that pathway, right? And when we're judging others, what we've got to really stand back and say, we will only see in others what is within ourselves, because we've only ever had that experience for ourselves. And when we start seeing it in others and start putting it out there in others, you know, we're reflecting back to ourselves. So really, we've got to stand back and, I don't say judge ourselves, don't do that, but just flow with it. It is what it is, and we're all here for a reason. And I think one of those biggest reasons is to live in peace, live in love together. When we come into this love energy, it's unconditional. It's a love that we know each other. We've all walked different roads, but we've had different experiences on different levels, and it's felt different for everybody. I would never walk in a room and say, I've had that experience too. And that almost belittles the experience that somebody else has had. You know, we honour it. We celebrate our experiences, and we keep them in that realm of precious and sacred, because whatever the experience is, it's for ourselves and our own journey, our own learning. When we start projecting it out onto others, we start to lose our self. For sure. And our own self-identity, our own power.
And I was thinking on from what you said, Mel, about like stop saying like having a judgment of what you should do this and should that, but there's that or I would never do that, rather. Like, again, I've always said to people, don't ever judge what you can and can't do, because, you know, I think people are, I could never have an affair, I could never do this. I think we're actually, as humans, we are capable of everything.
Absolutely.
And then there's the other thing is when you see a situation, you hear people just shouting off from the head, well, they just should do that. Like, say if somebody is in an abusive relationship or just a relationship which is a bit toxic, and they go, well, they should just split up. And I'm like, it's all well and good saying what they should do, but nobody is walking in their shoes. Nobody is feeling their emotions. People will make the decision when the time is right for them. What we don't need is people going, well, you should just do that, because it just doesn't help. It really doesn't help. You know, I've done lots of talks around like abusive relationships, because I was in one. I had some friends that said things all the time. I had some friends that just, and one just said to me one time, when do you think enough's going to be enough? And she just asked me the question rather than telling me enough was enough. And it was the most gentle thing she could have done. It was with non-judgment. It was with pure love. And, you know, I like to treat people how I want to be treated. Now, I spent a lot of my youth and up to my 30s justifying everything about me. Explaining, because I wanted to so feel worthy. And then when you come into this place of self-love, radical self-acceptance, all of a sudden you don't give two shits what anybody thinks about you. So I will never explain myself. But if I ever get into a situation where I feel I have to, I'm just like, walk away. But I would love other people to be able to just stand in their true authenticity, even if they're falling apart, even if they're making seemingly bad decisions, whatever, but just to be honest about it without you. And often it's your family and your best friends which are the ones that just go, and you're like, okay, boundaries.
Yeah, we've lost our boundaries, a lot of them, haven't we?
Yeah.
And I just spent the last 3 days with Dr. Vandana Shiva, and this was a lot about boundaries. You know, what we, the sovereignty of our seed, the sovereignty of our food, the sovereignty of our soil. it's all been interrupted. And so these relationships need to come back to one of love and peace and justice to create this world that we all feel just in.
Yes, and we're really in that space with social media and projections from, the last few years and things where they're trying to funnel us to all think the same, and we're surprisingly compliant to that. It's quite amazing how we become very judgmental of someone who doesn't think like us. And I'm very amazed that my daughter, who's 14, has found this incredible group of friends in Sydney who are just amazingly supportive, and they're a big group. And she said they never trash talk each other, and if someone does trash talk, the others jump in and say, let's not talk like that.
Oh, that's lovely.
I mean, have you
if
beautiful things can grow out of our younger generation,
absolutely, they've got a lot to teach us.
For them taking over,
go girls.
We need to get rid of some of these old school mindsets and people really operating under these sort of umbrellas of doing it for our good, when there's so many back agendas going on, and we need to get some of these young, fresh, inventive, kind, amazing people to be contributing way more to our society, don't we?
And honour and respect. Each one of us has a different journey. We're all unique shapes, sizes, and it comes together to make the bigger picture, which is the landscape, like the jigsaw puzzle. We all come together and make this beautiful landscape in life. We've all got a piece, we're all colourful, we're all this beautiful energy if we allow it to come through. And when you focus on others, you're not focusing on yourself. So,
and we are all
pointing your finger, and four are pointing at you.
Yeah, that's true. I love that phrase. And also remember, nobody in the world is you. We've all got our own unique fingerprints. We've all got our own unique blueprints. So when we come to that place of judging another person, we can't. It doesn't make any sense anyway, because they are not you. So we come from this place of, well, I would do this or I would do that, because you're coming from your current situation, your current circumstances, and your lifestyle and your upbringing and everything that makes you you, which is wonderful. You're amazing. But we're all unique, and we all see, feel, hear, smell, taste the world differently. I think about colours. You go, oh, well, I think that's blue. Somebody goes, well, I think that's turquoise. Somebody else goes, well, I think that's aqua. Everybody's right. But we're all just seeing it from our own unique perspective. So we're all just doing the best we can wherever we are in life, and I deal with a lot with teenagers, and I look what they're going through, and then just if we could just all come, like, if we could all have friends like your daughter. I mean, imagine if we'd all had those friends in school. Imagine where we would be now. That is just so beautiful to me.
It is. It is. I think we're heading in the right direction, but we just need to remember that when we speak bad of people, when we think badly of people, when we allow negative thoughts to come through. I mean, it's that old thing, isn't it? Your beliefs become your thoughts become your words, and your words become your actions. And all of that shows in your radiance. And so you can be the most beautiful person on the planet, but the least radiant, if you are not purifying your cellular environment and your belief system. If you're not working on that, then your beauty will not shine in the same way that it will when you are purifying your cellular environment and thought and belief systems. So that would be my one tip.
Yeah, I love that.
What would be yours?
Oh, on to stay in. Well, I would just say also, remember you are human, and no matter how much we try to be judgmental, sometimes judgmental thoughts come into our brain. So as soon as a judgmental thought comes into your head, I would sit with that thought and go, what is this about? Because it's actually about me. As Bridget said before, what we think about others is actually something that's inside ourselves. So no matter how much work I have done on myself, I'll admit still occasionally a judgmental thought will come in and I'll think, oh, judgmental, come on Jojo,
Yes,
what are you doing?
true.
So I'll sit, what is irking me? Am I feeling envy? Am I feeling jealousy? Am I tired and a bit pissed off today? What is going on for me to have that thought? Because that is not a kind and loving thought. So I would just say, just keep on, sorry, just saying bye to someone. Just keep on top of your own thoughts, because that's one of the most beautiful self-honouring, beautiful practices we can do, because there's so much that we are still learning about ourselves. We're forever evolving, aren't
and
we?
our own experiences,
Yeah.
you know, like I grew up with a very critical mother, so you know, getting over criticism and judgment of other people was you know, and like you say, we're not perfect, of course we do it, but becoming more and more aware of when you're doing that is huge if you have come from very, very critical parents, very judgmental parents, a judgmental family. It's, you know, you're overcoming some very big programming there.
Totally, and like, look at society, you know, it's all them kind of things, isn't it? What is your belief and what is not your belief? You can start picking them apart, and when any judgmental thought comes up, sometimes it's not even your own thought, as you say. It could have been a thought that's been passed down to you by a parent, by a teacher, by society, what we're being programmed into. And you go, actually, is that really my thought? You know, I remember taking my son during COVID. Of course, all the cafes shut down, didn't they? And the homeless people had no food. So I took my child out on the street and we helped feed the homeless. And it's one of the most beautiful things we could do, because he could see from a real compassionate level that these people don't mean to get there. They're not doing it on purpose. They don't deserve to be there. All of these things I've heard other people say, and you're like, okay, but as soon as that thought comes in, oh, you know, well, don't give them any money, they're just going to buy drugs. Oh, just actually, is that my thought, or is that something that has just been given to me by somebody else who doesn't want to give homeless people money? Again, it's all a lesson for yourself. It's all a lesson for your evolution. So it's very long-winded, but that's my tip.
Bridget.
Go, Bridget!
I love it. I want to share, I am because I feel. Not I am because I think. When we feel things, we feel on a deep level. And if we feel into how we're talking, how we're thinking, you know, if you actually sit with that, I quite often say this, you know, silence is the language of God. Anything else is a bad translation. That's one of my favourite quotes from Remy. But when we sit in that silence, we can really feel our bodies. We can feel how we're feeling in all of our centres. And if that's central for us, then great. That's, you know, who we are. And that, I think we've got to do that. Come back to the silence. Because when we're out here and outsourcing everything, we're not sourcing from within, and we're actually destroying our own energy. And we're so empowered, we're so powerful. You know, we need to keep that power in that neutral space and just
But you're right.
flow.
But you're right, because you said at the beginning about the gossiping. When you gossip, you're lowering your own vibration. This is not just about gossiping, but any kind of judgment.
And hating on yourself.
Yeah, and hating on yourself, and hating on others. And you're right, because when you even think about that now, if you were to say a horrible thing to somebody else now, sometimes we fire these things off without much thing, because it's a knee-jerk reaction. But it never feels good, does it?
Never feels
I don't
good.
know
And
anybody
the more
who
aware
rejoices.
of it you are, the worse it feels each time. So as your awareness grows, you're going to get that icky feeling even faster when you say something negative about someone. But I love that, and I always say to people, feel the feeling, don't think the thought.
Yes.
That's my expression for my clients. I'm like, feel the feeling, don't think the thought. Like, go in and say, okay, that's going on in my head, but what's going on in my heart? Like, what is the feeling around that? And then quite often you'll drop down into like a sadness, or you might drop to a memory, or you might drop to a certain age, and you'll feel just, you know, quite vulnerable. And the masking of that vulnerability is the commenting, right, and the thinking. And so when we can actually start to validate those deeper feelings of where it's actually coming from, And like you say, working out if that is actually your thought or a passed down thought.
Or a program,
or
a belief system that's not
Yeah.
yours, because
Yeah.
we've been programmed with all of these belief systems. I call it BS. We need to get rid of that BS because it's not serving us.
I like that.
But you're right, but when we feel, we heal. That's the whole thing. That's
Yeah.
that's my
Feel to
favourite.
heal.
Feel to heal, feel to heal.
Yeah.
It's like, I promote that all the time.
Yeah.
So when you are actually feeling into yourself, that's the greatest honour of self-healing, feel to heal. So yeah, gossip is downplaying. When you treat yourself badly, you're lowering your vibration. When we think bad thoughts about other people, so
And laughter is the music of the soul, and that's what I love about this group.
because we laugh.
So
Oh
good.
my God, before we come online, every time we're usually like on the floor hysterically laughing for ages over some ridiculous thing.
We should
we
record
start.
that, shouldn't we? Really, I think we should start
We should
recording
just
and do
record our
outtakes.
laughter.
You know, and you know, when you walk around with a smile on your face, nothing bad can come
Let's
in.
record our laughter
So if you're
for 10
feeling
minutes
bad-
for everyone.
It's contagious, isn't it? Anyway, on that note, us three lovely wise women from the Radiance Revolution, us wise women and my false boobs, we're gonna love ya, and we'll see you next time. If I can press stop, I don't know how to do it. Bye.